Soy Susan Justiniana, Rescue Poetics, and I'm the 2021-2022 Poet Laureate of Jersey City. Es un placer tremendo estar aquí con ustedes esta noche, and I have two poems for you. The first is called Summer in the City. Growing up in the city means a different kind of summer. Sidewalk barbecues fill each breath with charcoal and smoke. Neighbors bringing what they have to put on the makeshift table, ready for the grill. The grill surrounded by well-intentioned, self-proclaimed grill masters secretly waiting to flex their tongs. From the card table in the corner, the slam of Capicú announces the end of the latest round of dominoes. Marble tiles defiant to the glaring sun that bounces off of the blacktop, touching red brick and red cheeks. Limber y piraguas of pineapple, piña, mango, lime, red and blue melt before they can cool parched lips. Salsa y merengue give the street the season's soundtracks, blaring from windows in multiple directions. Our weekend summer camp in stereo. Fire hydrant splashing about, stickball, laughter, double dutch, tag, hide and go seek until the streetlights flicker on. Universal call that brings the block to bath and bedtime. Dominoes clashing, shifting in blocked circles. Along the tabletop, fading smoke and street smells. Backdrop of familia hanging out on stoops. One by one, the stoops empty out. Wide open windows yawn, release their sheer salutes, darkened by resting heads. Abuelitas y tías checking in, charcoal dumped over the curb, embers grasping to be seen through midsummer night's gleam.
Mi bandera, aunque no tuve la dicha de nacer en la Isla del Encanto, lo llevo representada desde que salí del
castles in the air. You could walk right by, not even see the lime-colored house amid thick emerald leaves. Or its owner, a senora of 70 years, her rocker in rhyme with a song of coquilles. Yellow bloom vines tangle grills on windows. Mango tree shadows a battered tin roof. Just a blue FEMA tarp between her and the rain. Far worse, her sister's house next door. Its roof ripped wide by Maria's shrill wind. Rain runs down walls, blackened with mold. Rust gnaws at a filigree gate. All of her years as a lawyer are crumbling. She's perched like a bird, her front porch, her cage. Pensions dissolve in fiscal default on an island held hostage by foreign dictates. But this is her home, her haven, her castle. Sofrito y jasmine perfume the air. New moon nights were splendid with stars before bright light high-rise buildings appeared. Flamboyant y flores were felled to rolled asphalt. Parking lots rolled to the edge of her green. And now they want to bulldoze her house, demolish its walls and her dreams. But each new day, aroma of coffee, the radio playing an old Lelo lie. She keeps the beat, the creak of her rocker, repeating, a defiant reply.
Borinquen. She is constantly in the eye of storms, has stared extinction in the face. Her daughter's wombs forced sterile, her sons forced to fight and die on front lines for the freedom of an alien nation without a voice in naming the commander who ships them off to war. She is beautiful, but battered. Something about her is magic, allows her to rise back up after knockdowns and tighten tyranny. It is clear the petitioned African and Taino spirits remain vigilant, breathing life back into her lungs and fire into her heart after tempest winds tear into her flesh. She cries seeds that birth steely pride. She is too deeply rooted to perish. She is something magical. She is Borinquen.
Like the mountain of Quisqueya, the love I have is great and strong. Like the mountains of Quisqueya, the love she had remains like a sweet, sweet song. We shared a life that no one can have. I see her smile and I'm not sad. Stories of her youth allow me to live her past. 95 years young seem to fly so fast. She is me and I am her. I will miss her soft touch. That's what I will yearn. She took the time to teach and I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn about the mountains of the mountains and the sea. I wanted to learn what made me. She is me and I am her. Abuela, thank you for sharing your life's journey and teachings. Abuela, you are my rock, the sun that shines. I promise I will keep reaching. Like the mountains of Quisqueya, I hold you close to my heart in times of strife. I know that you're here beside me as I walk on the road called life. Like the mountains of Quisqueya, the love I have is great and strong. Like the mountain of Quisqueya, the love she had remains like a sweet, sweet song.
This is Maria Ponte from the Bronx. So I wanted to share with you a story about what it was like to be going to the salsa clubs in the 70s and the 80s, listening to live bands, live music, everybody on the floor dancing. But this story has to do with the night and the first time I ever saw Hector Lavoe. I was 18 years old. It was 1975, November. And my family and I got dressed because that is what you did when you were going to go out. You went shopping, you got your dress, you made sure the heels matched the clutch bag because everything was about the clutch bag. You had your hair done, you had your perfume, which mostly everybody smelled the same because we all bought the same kind of perfume. And then you went to the club. And the clubs, even though we were in the midst of what has become famous as the Bronx is burning, the clubs had high ceilings. Some of them had chandeliers. Some of them had the disco ball. The floors were wood and polished. And the bands were bands. They had string, they had conga, they had timbale, they had the drums, the congas, and everything else you could think of. You had your singers. And the guys were always with their suits, which back then they used to be three-piece because it was the jacket, the vest, and the pants. And when you came in, you wanted to make an entrance because everyone looked at the door to see who was coming in, checking everybody out because it was a ritual. So this is my story from the perspective of a young Puerto Rican woman going to a place called El Cero Mar Casino, and it used to be on 149th off of 3rd Avenue. And for some reason, all the clubs had long stairs to climb up to get to the club. And so we come in, we get a table because you had to have your table. Everybody got their set, which was considered, you ordered your whatever you were going to drink with a bucket of ice and your soda, and we all shared at the table. But that night that I saw Hector Lavoe, which was my first time, he came in with his band. And it was a band. It wasn't just, guitar, somebody on horn. No, it was a full, it almost looked like an orchestra. And so he comes up on the stage, he introduces himself, and everyone was excited because, he was becoming famous. And he was famous. And he came in and he gets on the stage and he looks at everybody with his aviator glasses and he goes, bueno, estoy aquí a cantar un canción nuevo y cuando yo llego al coro, yo quiero que ustedes cantan conmigo. And he opens his mouth and he goes, oiga mi gente, lo más grande en este mundo, siempre he ido a sentir un orgullo profundo. Lo llamé. And then he keeps going and he goes, y el coro es, a la 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 la, que canta mi gente. Now, from my perspective, I was just shocked to hear this. And no one was dancing. It was everyone standing there looking at him like if we were in a concert. And so he takes the mic and he points out to the crowd and he says, El coro. And all you heard was, ah, la, 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 la. And he was famous for saying his little potty mouth words, which I'm not going to repeat here. And he turns around and he goes, El coro es, ah, la, 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 que canta mi gente. And he said, otra vez. And everybody started, ah, la, 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 que canta mi gente. And the band took off. And we all started dancing. And I didn't know what the hell I was doing because I didn't know how to dance salsa. And the guy that was my date that night, I felt so bad because I kept stepping on his feet But I was moving all over the place because I just felt this vibe that grounded me in what was going to become my music, my identity, like so many, many other of us. Because el orgullo de ser puertorriqueño, puertorriqueña en ese momento was so cemented in the spirit. And we all started singing, ah, la, 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 la. Little did we know that that was going to become one of his most famous, iconic songs. And as time went on, I would go to the clubs. I loved it. I would go with my family. It was with my aunts, my cousins, their friends. I was working for the city at that time in Bellevue Hospital, pediatrics. And it was all about getting out of the sadness that was surrounding us. The city was broke. We were still healing from the race riots in the 60s, a lot of turmoil. Civil rights was barely 10 years old. But what we did in our culture with resilience was we learned to try to find time to have fun. And that's what we did. We went out and the music was live. Nothing was recorded. It was real people just standing there doing their music with their love and their passion. And a musician's life is not easy. You know, whatever you make your money from your gig, that's where you make it. But Fania salsa took off like a fever. And we started going to the concerts, which were held at Madison Square Garden. The tickets were about $20. You went in and you got to see the whole Fania group because everyone was with us at the time. So you had Celia, you had Roberto Roena, you had everybody there, Peter El Conde, Ray Barreto, everyone was there singing. And there was something about the garden concerts that was amazing. When you walked in there, you didn't feel like you were in New York anymore. You felt like you were in a part of Puerto Rico because a lot of the musicians flew in from Puerto Rico to play. And they would tell you what pueblo they came from, what town, and then they would blare it out, ¿Quién viene de Ponce? And then the crowd would go, hey, raising their hands and screaming. And the one vivid things I remember about the concerts in the garden was there was a group of people that you always had seats down at the bottom by the stage. And as soon the music was going on, they would unfurl the largest Puerto Rican flag you could ever see. And they would take the flag and walk it around the aisle in the garden, and everybody went nuts. And the other part of it was when the concerts would end, everyone that played that night would come on stage and make a line, and they would start this song that was the beginning of the end of the concert, and they would start singing one by one in a group. Quítate tú pa ponerme yo. Quítate tú. And in the back, you would hear the band playing. Param, pararam, pa. Quítate tú pa ponerme yo. Quítate tú. And each one would come up and say something about the other one and then walk off the line. And Paco from KTU, when sometimes he hosted it, he would announce where everybody else was playing. And a lot of times, a lot of people were announcing, if you want to hear what I'm going to sing today, it's a new song, I'll be at such and such club in the Bronx. Because they always brought their music to the Bronx to see and listen to what we had to say. And so that's my story. That was my moment. I won't forget it as long as I remember things. And it will always bring a smile to my heart because one thing that I am very proud of is who we are as a culture, a people, a history, food, and our music. Gracias.
Latinos are the colors of the rainbow. I said the rainbow, yo. Latinos are blanquito, negrito, trigueñito, and afro. Afrolistic, realistic, simplistic, always mystic, always real. Really real, sometimes too real. Always told we love to steal. So some Latinos become violent. So violent, we grow violent. For some, almost everyone we know is violent. Others become angered. So angry and angered, some have become endangered. Others misinformed, uninformed, and uniformed into the penitentiary, right into the next century. Others misinformed, uninformed, then uniformed into the war, turned into Uncle Sam's whore. Latinos, I can't take it no more. I said the U.S. military, but we're first on the front lines, first to die, then we have to bury. Have you seen how many Latino soldiers are in your national cemetery? Used in the U.S., abused in the U.S., confused in the U.S., and told we are less in the U.S. Come on, system, confess. We've been infected, rejected, corrected, and almost never elected. Yet always selected to clean, 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 clean those pissed on urinals and shitty stalls. We are the Latina nannies that wipe the shit out of the president's grandchildren's drawers, then kiss his ass to cut his grass for a visa pass. Latinos are runaway slaves with eyes open wide, and Latinos risk their lives to reach the U.S. and can't come inside. Latinos are young men that win country with pride. We're here, there, and everywhere. Tall, short, bald, and even Indio looking with long hair. We rock the baggy pants, love music and dance, and we're born to romance. Latinos can become what we dream, if given a chance. Latinos are stars, sports stars, movie stars, and superstars like Celia Cruz. Latinos influence people around the world like Orquesta de la Luz. Latinos are united farm workers, teachers, preachers, activists, poets, Borinquen, Puerto Rican, New York poets like Benito Más, Abacha y Miguel Piñero. Y nacimos fuerte hasta la muerte, como los macheteros. Somos doctores, profesores de colores y ingenieros. Gente como Clemente, de los mejores peloteros. Somos íbaros de la montaña y nacimos dos salseros. Ay, mis laborinquen, como yo te quiero. Te llama Puerto Rico, pero no hay mucho dinero. Te amo, te amo, te amo y me encanta. Y en el nombre de Dios y poesía, Puerto Rico se levanta. Thank you.
Dancing bomba in La Goico. I strained to hear El Maestro's words, inflections careening off concrete walls, a flash aguacero rumbling. He weaves Yoruba and Espanol, centuries of Puerto Rican history wedged like shins in the slim caesura between words. Maraca, baril, y kwa. Sika, Wimbey, Juba, He shares a dancer's terms. Pasos, piquetes, el repique. An arc of energy as large as one's wingspan, even with fists planted on hips. Aún así. I listen with poet's ears, learn to mark one's space with the tips of los dedos corazón, the heart fingers, so named by the Greeks who believed a vein ran from the longest digit to the center of one's heart. I stretch my arms wide, fingers reaching beyond the walls. I inhabit my body, feet in the beat of Sika when my mind travels through time. I remember children's voices bounding off these walls back when the Centro Comunitario was a school, and mi suegra lived on the second floor of the building next door. We told time by the glee of banter in the playground below her balcony. Floating in amber, the past dances before me, invisible a lo demás. Melao drips down my arms, pools at my feet. 1, 2, 3, y ta! Golpe caja on the drum. Tum takata ta! Language of the drum. Vernacular of the body. Idiom of mi dedo corazón. Pointing towards the treetops. Reaching for memories. Nesting in the leaves of my heart.
The poet is here. The poet is here. So listen up and open up them ears, because the poet is here. And I am that poet. That ghetto fabulous take it to anybody's face poet. That Puerto Rock warrior who when a child was lost without an identity and has now found his place in society poet. Yes, I am that poet. That barrio bred, born in the gutter wild child who will always say loud and proud, Yo soy boricua pa' que tú lo sepas poet. Yes, I am that poet. That poet who can easily shake his butt to the sounds of the late, great Tito Puentes beating on his timbales, as well as to some good old hip-hop beats poet. Yes, I am that poet. That revolutionary poet whose words might even star a war poet. Yes, I am that poet. That poet whose body is often possessed with the spirits of Albizu, Che, and Malcolm X poet. Oh, damn, I am that poet. That poet whose muses are combinations of the likes of Langston Hughes, Keats, and Miguel Piñero at the same time poet. Yes, I am that poet. That New Rican poet.
People call me a dreamer. Let them see what my dreams bring. A blueprint of the future not stamped by society's approval, a rule-breaking, earth-shaking, far-reaching arrangement that will be built and rebuilt and rebuilt until my last breath. I'll be that dreamer. Split between realities of nighttime freedom and daylight structure, conjuring, manifesting, creating in my sleep. And those dreams, with the life of accomplishment at their foundation, see themselves into tangible representations, bridges designed to keep building. From them comes the strength to maintain what needs to be done, to see fruition of plans and work, ready to be completed in their own good time. It doesn't end. It can't. From the dream to the reality, each plan laid in the threads of memories, triggered by premonitions of things to come. Each waking moment an opportunity to create what comes in the form of visions of a mind at peace, from where the undeniable takes root to turn what I believe, what we believe, into the physical. People call me a dreamer. Let them see what my dreams bring. There are those who would speak of their dreams as an unrealistic anomaly. Speaking of them doesn't give them the same life that doing them breathes from them. Dreams need life, to be moved from the air of one day to the hands of those who will mold them into seeds for growth, plant them in the eyes of dreamers who do instead of think, those to whom the rules of impossible don't apply. They call us dreamers. Let them see what our dreams bring.
My name is Raina Miranda, aka Red Clay Woman, and the reason why um, I was given this name during the ceremony, it means Taino for Sipenaru in Native American Red Clay Woman. And the reason why I was given this name was because of the fact that I can create art, bonds of friendship, through artwork and through poetry, through spoken word. Now, my painting behind me is called Taino Past and Present. I'm a descendant of Dominican parents, which gives me the best of both worlds, which is I get Americanized and I am also Dominicanized. But the original name of Dominican Republic is not the Dominican Republic. It is called Quisqueya. Now, the Tainos ranged from all over the Caribbean, and I love to celebrate that part of my culture. So with this painting, Taino Past and Present, I am gradually getting a Taino, a young man in Taino, transitioning to modern day New York City. And in the painting, you see a lot of different references and what have you. You see the Empire State Building, you see the Statue of Liberty, the United Nations building, and the Brooklyn Bridge, which I have the love for Brooklyn, and it will never end. So I'm at the crossroads of my life right now that I'm also trying to rediscover myself every single time. I go from becoming a Taino artist to becoming a poet and to becoming into art, into acting as well. And now I'm transitioning from Taino art into wood burning pieces, which is basically working with artists like Prince, Nina Simone, Angela Davis, Whoopi Goldberg, and Aretha Franklin. I enjoy art because it shows people that I have a story to tell. And my story is that I want to make sure that everyone learns where they're coming from to know where they're going. That's why I use that painting, Taino Past and Present. In order to know where you're going, you need to know where you came from. So that way you can better understand yourself and where you're going in life. With me, I'm always evolving and growing. So that's basically my whole story right there.
Taino. Trace my blood to its roots, and you will find in the spaces between fallacies the origin of my Gaona skin. Annihilation never took place. Our stories did not die, they were merely buried and hidden. If you looked deep into my DNA, you would find encoded words from Huracan telling me I was born to breathe lightning and fire. No amount of shade could forever obscure El Sol de Hayuya from radiating the truth on its people. Our hands have long since learned to turn bitter fruit into sweet libations. Our Taino path is forever.
Taina, my roots come from within. My blood runs many cultures, from the beautiful jungles of Africa to the glitter of Madrid. My cousins, France, Italy, Germany, and Ireland. My cultures are many, but through my veins runs one true blood of a Taina. A noble woman am I, strong with dignity, proud, standing tall, beautiful with all my cultural curves, from white to black, pureness in my heart, fruitful in my soul. Taina am I, proud to be the Puerto Rican I am, proud to be Taina. The skin tones, the sounds, the smells, the laughter all flow rhythmically from our past, the beginning when our beauty emerged with our Boricua sun and our rainbow of colors. Taina, yes, am I, proud fighter, ama de casa, cariñosa, giver, supporter, mother, wife, sister, daughter, all in one. Sí, yo soy Taina, yo soy Boricua, orgullosa, till my days are done. This proud blood which runs through my veins, strong, you can't knock it down. Como el coquí, tan alegre que canta nowhere else but en mi Isla del Encanto. Y no te olvides de mi arroz con gandules y pernil. Qué sabroso. My taste buds come alive to the feast which we as humble people always welcome. Mi isla bonita, tan bella y abundante de amor. I'm proud to let la política take over mi corazón. My beauty, my orgullo, my dignity, my intellect, my power, my soul. This energy comes out con salsa picante, running through my veins and pores. Qué rica soy yo. Soy yo Taina, Boricua from head to toe. Puerto Rico, yo te amo. You are in my soul, my body, my spirit. We will rise again, yet stronger. Our love for culture will save us. It will bring us together as one. Mi isla, we will rise above the storm.
Buen día. Saludos desde Santurce, Puerto Rico. I'm going to take you all on a little walk today. We're going to go over to La Goico Cultural Center, Community Cultural Center, which is in Calle Luisa, here in Santurce. Let's go. So, we're going to head over to Calle Luisa. And La Goico was started some years ago utilizing the old Goico school that had been closed down among some 300 and something schools that have been closed in Puerto Rico in the last decade. Anyway, right after Hurricane Maria, when people didn't have any electric, gas, whatever, people opened up the school because there was gas and there were resources, and started cooking for people in the neighborhood. And from that started the idea to have a community center, and Carmen Zulin actually did turn the center over to the community. It is run by community members. We can see it there coming up ahead. And it's a wonderful place. There are jazz concerts monthly, free for the community, films, there are bomba classes, there are plena classes, there's yoga, there's free psychotherapy for people who are experiencing stressors. And here we are en la calle Luisa. Vamos a cruzar con mucho cuidado. Con su paciencia, por favor. No quiero que me aplasten. Okay. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we're at the Goico. The Goico also has a program, bicycle renting. It has recycling. Puerto Rico does not have a centralized recycling system, but the Goico does do its best to provide resources for that. Okay, so we're going to go inside, and there are classes for children, many, many things. Bienvenidos a la Goico. Y aquí tenemos, everything's a little closed right now, but there are salones de clase, baile, etc. There are workshops here. Different local artists have spaces here. Okay. This is looks like a poster workshop. Artistas trabajando. Y aquí tenemos el patio. Puede ver el escenario, the stage. Films are shown here. Concerts are done here. Just wanted to show you all this wonderful project. Over here is a garden. Herbs. Emphasis on recycling. These are all classrooms. Lugares de bomba. Los gatos, los perros en paz. Menta, albahaca. Varios frutos. Varias hierbas. And this continues here. Más salones, talleres. La imprentita. And emphasis on músicos. Of course, the great Tito Matos, you can see here, and who passed away this past January. And he was very instrumental in this project. And there's a mural here that pays great tribute to him. This place has special meaning for me because my mother-in-law used to live in this building right here that you can see when this was still a school. You'll hear about this in a poem. And the segundo that you can see right there, that was her balcony. And we always used to overlook the kids and see them playing. And when the school was shut down, things changed. But anyway, just being here brings me back memories, which I'll talk about in a poem. Los Reyes Magos. Y Plena, Casa la Plena. There is lots of looks. Okay, this is sort of, we'll keep off this. There's a lot of things here. Un barco de jugar para los niños. And then there's more huertos, more garden areas that we'll see. And members of the community volunteer, keep this place running. It's a wonderful, wonderful resource. When Tito Matos died, this entire plaza was filled shoulder to shoulder with people paying tribute to him, as were the upper, all of the balcones were all filled with people. And we're going to continue on with the tour. And I'm going to come through here. Buen día. Es huerto comunitario. Papaya. Jamaica. Ooh, nice big lizard. I just get little ones by my house. Ooh, nice. Good size. And parcha roja. And this continues on, and all of this is orégano brujo. Y sigue para allá, para abajo. You can see? And it actually continues on around the back of the building. And jengibre, papaya, parcha. And they do a very good job of using every inch of available space to create gardens. Anyway, I wanted to share this very special place with you, just in general, but also because I'm going to share a poem with you that took place during a Loma class I took here with Leo, great teacher, Leo. Okay, so let's come back to the plaza, and I'm going to close this out for right now, and I hope you enjoyed este pequeño gira de la comunidad Goeco.